Hello and welcome to another Matura Express stream. I'm Chris and today we're gonna talk about reading skills. Hello again. As I've already mentioned in the introduction, today we're gonna talk about reading skills, text reading skills. English for your oral exams. And I think some of you might know what it's all about, but we will go through it together. So the overview of today's stream is as follows. We're gonna start off with the importance of reading skills in an oral exam. How to skim and scan a text, how to use context clues, how to take notes and express ideas in your own words, and last but not least, we're gonna practice and demonstrate a few reading skills, although we will do so during the stream, so during the skimming and scanning topic. So yeah, we're gonna start off with the importance of reading skills in an oral exam. So why do you need oral exam? Why do you need reading skills, and why should you practice reading skills? So as you all know, with the oral exam, you get an article with a specific. You have your specific topic that you chose, and you have an article that is provided for you for this topic, and of course you have to read the article. It would be very great if you do so. But how can you best approach reading this article? So some of you might not be that fast with reading, so and today's stream is all about that, to enhance your ability to read an article and to also read for specific details, which we're gonna treat in the next on the next slide, basically. So what I've listed here is basically that at first the exam or reading skills help you to read faster. You will be able, if you practice the things I tell you today, that you will enable you to read faster if you practice it, of course. Then the second aspect is it helps you to read for essential information. You all know with the article in the oral exam, it's important to not only mention facts and numbers and dates and names, but it's also important that you know the essential information, the gist of the article. The gist is, in German you could say it's the Hauptfokus, the quintessence of the article. So what is it about? If you don't know what the article is about and what the main argument of the article is, then you will have a hard time doing your oral exam, actually, especially when it comes to the dialogue. Then, what else? Reading skills help you to better understand the text. We're gonna go through these different techniques on the next slide. And what else? It also helps you to scan quickly through the text, which also is similar to the first bullet point here. And last but not least, it helps you to acquire different sub-skills. So different sub-skills are scanning and skimming, for example. So which we're treating today. And we're gonna start with skimming. So what is skimming? It sounds very funny. And skimming basically is reading for the gist of an article, paragraph, sentence, whatever, you name it. So I've written it in parentheses, so it's the gist is the general idea of an article. As I've mentioned, you should know, of course, the general idea, and therefore there are certain techniques that help you to find out what it's all about. So I've listed you 2 tips basically, but we're gonna read through the article. I think we're gonna read through the article at the end of the stream, since I'm gonna do a demonstration of the techniques, but I'm gonna explain it to you anyway. So tips that you that might help you to find out what the article is about is, of course, reading the headline, but it's not enough to just read the headline and say, oh, okay, this article is about food poisoning or something. You also need to read the article, but with skimming, the thing is that you quickly read the article, so you don't read the article word by word and want to find out every detail. You just read it faster and just look for the most important things in the article. As we will practice with this article I've provided, which is actually from a demonstration exam about education, I think. Is a BBC article, so it's very authentic to the oral exam. And another tip I've got for you is use the topic sentences of paragraphs for your advantage. So as you might know, every paragraph needs a topic sentence, and the topic sentence basically states what this paragraph treats. So if you're reading a lot, or if you should read a lot actually, look at the paragraphs of the article, of any article, and if the article or the writer is good or try to be good, he or she should have included a topic sentence for the paragraph, so that the reader knows what it's all about. Helps you to read the article better and so on, but we don't treat this today. Okay, so we had skimming. Skimming, quick revision, easy. You read for the general idea of an article. The other sub-skill we're gonna treat today is scanning. So what is scanning? So for example, a good okay, what is scanning? I've written it down. I'm sorry. It's reading for specific information. So if you have a date, numbers, names, places, it can be best explained if there is a question, for example, in a history test, which asks you when was this dictator born? And you have an article, and you're just looking for his birthday. So you can quickly find it out. So you just have to go through all the numbers in the article, and you don't have to read the whole article. That's what scanning all about. And if you want to know something, some specific information like names, a date, numbers, places, you name it, then you use this sub-skill, scanning, to find out more about the things you want to know and want to use in your dialogue, in your monologue, to impress your examiner. Okay, and the link is the same, so the article is the same. As with the skimming, we're gonna go through it at the last slide, just to have a better overview, basically. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is context clues. Context clues. What are context clues? You all know about clues, maybe. So clues are, if you're speaking in detective terms, a clue is like evidence. So it's it's little hints that help you to understand vocabulary that you don't know. So I've outlined it here. What are context clues? Clues that help you or help us understand a sentence or a text, even if we don't know all the words. It's very important. I think you all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes even myself included, we come upon some words we just don't know during reading, and of course sometimes you don't want to interrupt your reading since you're so focused and you really like the book you're reading, so you don't want to stop and look it up. So try to evaluate from the context what the vocabulary or what the word means. And this is called context clues, as I've already mentioned, but there are some different categories that help you identifying context clues. So at first I'm gonna read through the example sentence. It's just a general sentence. For example, if you read anything, book, article, or something like that, and you come across the word frigid, it could look like this. The frigid temperatures of today felt quite uncomfortable, or when I came home into my warm house, I felt better. So maybe you're already able to associate or to find out what this word could mean. So if frigid temperatures made you feel uncomfortable, and if something warm, so warmer temperatures, made you feel better, the only way to solve this problem is that frigid means cold. So of course frigid, it could be a more stronger adjective like freezing cold or something, but if you get the quintessence of the word, it's okay. So frigid temperatures, if you know it's cold or something in relation to cold, then you're good. Then you know already, okay, I've understood the sentence, and if you learn how to use those strategies, it's also good for you to acquire new vocabulary. Since although you don't know the word at first, you might, or you have a better chance to remember it. Since you worked on it, you found out by yourself what the meaning of the word is. So, and another, or that was basically the example sentence for context clues. So, and the three techniques you can use are synonyms, so looking for synonyms, looking for antonyms, and explanations. I'm gonna start off with the synonyms. So the sentence I've provided is as follows, reads as follows. It was supposed to be an infinite relationship, but he wasn't sure if he wanted to be with her forever. Beautiful sentence, I know, I'm very creative. I hope you comment on this, my creativity. I'm just joking. It was supposed to be an infinite relationship, but he wasn't sure, blah blah blah, with her forever. So you then might find out that forever or infinite means forever. So it's a synonym forever for forever, but just another word. Therefore, it's a synonym. Yes, it's that easy. You just have to know some basic. You should follow some basic rules, and then you're fine with it. You can do it easily the next time you stumble upon a different word. Then with antonyms, it's almost the same. If you don't know what antonyms are, I'm gonna quickly revise it. Antonyms are always words that are the opposite of one word. So comfortable, the antonym of comfortable is uncomfortable. Yes. In this example sentence, her mother's, I've played with the word valuable, which you might not know. I hope you know it, but sometimes, yeah, you just don't know it. Her mother's jewelry is valuable to her, but he thinks it is worthless. So, valuable is the word you don't know. We have already discussed this. Worthless is the antonym of valuable. So, valuable means it is worthless, not worthless to her. So, yeah. It's easy, I think, but you just have to know what it's all about, or how to use this rule. I'm sorry. And the last rule or last technique, I'd say, is that you look for explanations. In this case, the word we want to solve is rapture. So you might stumble upon that word and you don't know what it is. So don't give up reading and throw your textbook away. Try to solve it. And in this case, it's really easy. The sentence tells you that somebody should not open this bottle of beer because it's all shaken up. The result of this is that the beer or the liquid in it, in the bottle, is going to rupture. if you do so. So the only explanation here is that rapture means explode. So if you shake a can of Coke, it's going to rapture, or it's going to explode, of course. And yeah, that's basically how you solve this mystery of context clues, and to use and if you know how to use those three techniques, it will help you a lot to solve any kind of vocabulary based hindrances you might stumble upon during reading. So remember these. Our streams are all stored on our YouTube channel. We have playlists and all. So just search for the topic, for today's topic, and you can rewatch them. So although we're live, we are conserving everything we have. So the next thing is how to take notes and express ideas in your own words. You know that with the article it's very helpful for you to take notes, otherwise it will be quite hard to get through the exam. Although if you're really good at learning by heart or something like that, you might not need it, but it's always good to take notes for the article, because then you can also structure your monologue and dialogue and don't get confused or completely confused with all the aspects you wanted to talk about, but then you can't remember. So the techniques, let's call them techniques you can use for taking notes are mind maps, bullet points, highlighting, so with a text marker, color coding. So color coding is basically also using a text marker, but with color coding, of course, as the name says, different colors, for example yellow, green or red, have a specific meaning assigned to them. So for example, red is for names, blue is for numbers, and yellow is for examples or topic sentences. That's basically, you can decide which category you want to add, categories you want to add. And of course there are abbreviations which are also helpful if you use abbreviations, so you can work faster with it. So, but it's basically the 5 things you can use. If you want to know more detailed explanation on these techniques, watch our stream of note-taking skills, monologue and dialogue. I did the stream, so you can watch me again explaining these things, how to work with them, how to create them, how to create mind maps and all the things. Get back to this stream so we have a more detailed explanation. Just keep in mind, note taking is very important, and shouldn't be neglected by you. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is ideas in your own words. So how do you express in your own words, how to express your ideas in your own words, of course. What you always want to, if you read an article, you want to use your own words. Of course, you can make, you can cite the article. Of course, it's possible, but it's always better to use your own words. And what I came up with is basically that you think about the gist of the topic at first. For example, with the topic pollution, is how to, the gist is might be how to best use alternative means that help us reduce greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide emissions. Could also be something different. That's just my explanation. Try to explain the topic with your own words and yeah, use your own vocabulary. Don't use the vocabulary word by word from the article. It's always better to use your own words, I think. Of course, if you're making a quotation, you should use the words of the quotation, but that's something different. Then start with writing down words or chunks, preferably in English, of course. If you're doing it in German or another language, or your mother tongue basically, it's gonna be a waste of time since you have to rewrite it in English again. So do it in English. Chunks are just few words written together, so you should all know what it means. I've treated upon this in the stream I've mentioned before. So words or chunks, and use those words and chunks to assist you in the monologue and dialogue. Write it down write it down on your, it's not a cheat sheet, but it's a sheet you can use during the exam. Write it down and structure it properly. Yeah, then you will be fine, I think, for the oral exam. And then the last bullet point is try to rephrase excerpts of the article in your own words. I've already outlined this, so no further explanation needed here. So yeah, I hope I covered everything that you wanted to know about this topic. But now we're gonna quickly go through an article which is about schools. Yes, UK school report. Where is the article here? So we discussed the techniques of skimming and scanning. So, for example, you want to scan the article for numbers or percentage or something similar. You go through the article quickly and look if you can find any numbers or the date. Maybe you might know the date. It's very easy, I know, but if you just look for it, where are percentages? Here, 37%, 75%. What else? There could also be 21st century, maybe. If you might want to know some names or something like this. Of course, here, students from the Crest Girls Academy. I think that's very important. The Crest Girls Academy, you might want to know from which school they are, the students. Not from many schools, not from this specific school. You might want to know where this study has been carried out in the UK. And yeah, the other technique I mentioned was skimming, of course, and then you could start with the headline, the positives and negatives of using social networking sites, so you know what the article basically is about. But of course, with skimming, you just quickly read through the article, and I'm not gonna read through the article now. I think you can do it by yourself. But if I start with, for example, this paragraph, social networking is a topic that divides opinions of people who think it's an amazing tool, but others are worried about the impact it has on people's life. So even the first thing, if you quickly read through it, you have several parts in there that help you specify what the article's gist is about. But of course, you have to read through the article, the whole article, but just kind of overflow the article, not like from students to journalists. You don't have to read it that carefully. Yes, but I think that's something you need to practice. That doesn't come overnight. So, but if you do so, I think it will be quite easy for you to then go through the article in the exam, and that basically sums up this stream for today. I hope I could help you out with the reading skills. Before I'm gonna end the stream, we're gonna check if there are any questions. So far, no questions. Okay, so I will leave you alone now. No, we're gonna see each other on Monday. And yeah, have a nice evening and goodbye.